back for a new top 10 list. This is my ranking for me personally, my top 10 favorite PS4 games of all time. We have quite a few honorable mentions first, so let's get to it. Enjoy the music in the background. I chose the soundtrack from the game Rhyme to be the background music. First of honorable mentions, A Plague Tale of Innocence, which takes place during, of course, the Plague, or also known as Black Death. So, very interesting game, underrated in my opinion. If you like games with a lot of puzzles and things, dark, obviously, mood set, and given you're dealing with plagues of rats and everything, which is part of the puzzles, I think it's a really good game. If you like stealth or something, strategy in your game, check this game out. It's relatively cheap. You can get this new for like $20. GameStop pre-owned, I think, is like $15, $16, so it's like a really good price. But I recommend this game highly. Next, honorable mention. A great game I highly recommend to anyone who likes action style hack and slash games. Dust Diver. If you get a chance, check out this game. It's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. In the future, sometime I'm hoping to do a full recorded playthrough of the game. But I recommend this quite highly. Also, it's made by a Taiwanese game company. Next honorable mention, No Man's Sky. A game that, as time has gone on, I've come to actually really like this game. And I respect the maker who did the game. And I recommend, if you haven't played No Man's Sky, give it a chance. You can get it for a good price. Next honorable mention, Gravity Rush 2. As everyone knows by now, Gravity Rush 1 is my all-time favorite Vita game. So it shouldn't be any surprise that at least this would get an honorable mention. Great game. I like the first game a little bit more, but still, I highly recommend Gravity Rush 2. Next, believe it or not, honorable mention, Assassin's Creed Unity. I think this game is underrated in my personal opinion. I actually enjoy it quite a bit. I like it more than Odyssey. I like it more than Syndicate. I would say it's kind of 50-50 between Unity and Origins, though. But I like Unity a lot more than most people do. Next honorable mention, I've done in the past a full playthrough of this game. I highly recommend it. I got the game for like $5. You can get this game dirt cheap. Get a chance, buy the game. It's a great story. I thoroughly enjoy it. I don't think it deserves the hate it's gotten. I think it's a criminally underrated game in my opinion. The Order 1886. Great story with, of course, werewolves. Next honorable mention might be somewhat controversial, but for me, it's the definitive edition of DMC Devil May Cry, which is a game I thoroughly enjoy, and I will continue defending this game. Last two honorable mentions. First up, Resident Evil Revelations. I still have not actually played the PS4 version. I've played the game previously on the 3DS. It's quite a fun experience on the 3DS. I'm curious, though, see how it plays on a more traditional game console. And I'm sure it looks way better in PS4 versus the 3DS, but eventually I will get around and probably do a playthrough of it. Last honorable mention, Resident Evil 7, which is a great game, and if you have a VR, I highly recommend playing the game in VR. It's an experience unto itself. That's it for the honorable mentions. Now let's get on to the actual top 10 list. Coming in first at number 10. Technically, it's remakes, if you will, a collection, but coming at number 10 for me personally is, of course, the Crash Insane Trilogy. as a longtime fan of the Crash series going all the way back to the PS1, this is how you do a remaster or remake properly, and for a reasonable price, not charging a flat $60 instead of like $40. That's how you do it, in my opinion. But the games look great. Sadly, they kind of screwed up some of the mechanics gameplay wise for Crash 1, unfortunately, because they used physics from Crash 2 and 3 and Crash 1, which made Crash 1 actually a lot harder. This version, anyways. Especially the Road to Nowhere. Yeah. But this is how, in my opinion, you should do a remake or remaster. Perfect example. Coming in at number 9, of course, as I said, you hear the music in the background from. At number 9 for me is Rhyme. Great indie game. It's probably my personal favorite indie game on the PS4. Keep in mind, like, even though I've played some indie games, a decent amount on the PS4, I've played a lot more indie games, though, actually on Xbox One and the Switch. But Rhyme is a great game. I love the animation. The art style is drop dead gorgeous. And I really love the soundtrack. The music is superb. I really like the puzzles. That's one of the big things for me with Rhyme, besides the art style and the music, is the puzzles are a lot of fun. Coming in at number 8 is a game I'm sure plenty of people are familiar with, and it's my personal favorite of the Souls series. Coming at number 8 is Dark Souls 2, of course, Scholar of the First Sin, which is the definitive way to play Dark Souls 2. As I've said before, I'll say it again, Dark Souls 2 is my favorite of the Soulsborne series, and I will continue defending it no matter what, as my personal favorite. But then again, it was my very first Souls game I ever played, so I think that's with many people. Usually the first Souls game you play a lot of times will end up being your favorite Souls game. For me, it was Dark Souls 2. For other people, it was either Demon Souls or the original Dark Souls, or for others, Bloodborne. Just depends the time period you start. But for me, I love Dark Souls 2. It's easily my favorite in the genre. It's a great game, and this game plays superb on PS4. Next, coming in at number 7 is a game that I praise quite highly. Quickly show the opening of the Steelbook. And coming in at number 7 is Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. Because there's a reason I went out of my way to get the special collector's edition of this game. I love Type 0. It's hands down my favorite, more modern Final Fantasy game. Hands down. I haven't played a lot of Final Fantasy 15 to be fair, but what I have played 15, I'm so-so on Final Fantasy 14. I'm just not a big MMO person. Yeah, to me, for me personally, Final Fantasy Type 0 is my favorite modern Final Fantasy game. I love it to death, which is a reason why it is my 7th favorite PS4 game of all time. Next, a few more Square games. Coming in at number 6, technically, is an HD collection, but is the definitive HD collection for me personally. Coming in at number 6 is the Kingdom Hearts 1.5/2.5 collection, which gives you the cinematics to, of course, recoded, as well as 358 over 2 days. And of course, the full gameplay of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Of course, also Chain of Memories, or rather Rechain of Memories, Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and of course Birth by Sleep Final Mix. With Three amazing games to play and Chain of Memories. Not the biggest fan of Chain of Memories. But with that said, this is a definitive way, a great way to play Kingdom Hearts games, and given you can get this now for like $20 and getting full games plus cinematics for two others total, content-wise, 6 Kingdom Hearts games, that is great, and I can't recommend this enough, just because of having Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and Birth by Sleep alone gets it to number 6. Coming in at number 5, favorite game on the PS4. Kingdom Hearts 3 comes in 5th place. It got an honorable mention just because just barely started playing on Xbox One. But for me, my 5th favorite PS4 game of all time, easily KH3. And the Remind DLC also added. I like that added more, plus boy did it add extra hard boss battles. I'll give it that. But I love this game. The boss battles are so much fun. I love the new worlds in it, especially the new Pirates of the Caribbean world is amazing because gameplay-wise, it reminds me a lot of AC4 Black Flag. Quite a bit. The naval battles are just a blast to play, pun intended. But it's a great game. I highly recommend to anyone that's a Kingdom Hearts or a action RPG fan. Great game, a lot of fun. The music is superb as always, of course. I especially love the Toy Story world quite a bit. Unlike some people out there, I actually enjoyed the Frozen world a good amount. I will say, outside of Pirates world and stuff, I think the world that was the most surprising to me with how much fun I actually had in the world was Tangled World. That actually ended up easily in my top 3 favorite worlds from the game. Loved it. And that's actually what got me into finally watching the Tangled movie, and now I have it on Blu-ray. Like, I love Tangled quite a bit. But yeah, I think the game is fun. It has a lot of really fun boss battles, plus it's a lot of fun getting to fight Davy Jones. Though it's kind of weird in the whole story aspect of things, but still, it's a lot of fun. Plus, it's a lot of fun getting to interact with, like, Buzz and Woody and others from Toy Story. Nostalgia factor heavy. Big Hero 6 World was a lot of fun as well. Next, coming in at number 4. It's a game that I have become one of the biggest defenders of, I would say, outside of me. Another one that's become a big defender of this game is Maximilian Dude. Number 4 for me personally is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Is my 4th favorite PS4 game of all time. I love Infinite. I still off and on constantly will play on occasion the game online. It's still surprisingly you can find quite a few matches online, believe it or not. Trust me, I'm kind of surprised that I can still, without too much trouble, actually find matches. Which says to me there's a lot of other hardcore fan base on PS4 that like Infinite. And that makes me happy knowing that it's still doing pretty good. It still has a very hardcore cult following. Speaking as a member of that cult following. But I love the game as a whole. It deserves a lot more love than it gets. Coming in at number 3. Yes, welcome to the stage of history. Coming in at number 3 is Soul Calibur 6. Just barely beat out Marvel Infinite for 3rd place. Soul Calibur 6 is how you do an excellent sequel, but reversing a lot of the damage of Soul Calibur 5, being not a big fan of 5 at all. I love the much faster game pace of the gameplay aspect in Soul 4. It felt a lot more like Soul Calibur 3 in the speed and everything gameplay, not super slow. I don't know why. Soul Calibur 4 just felt really slow to me gameplay-wise. I'm not sure why, but just do for some bizarre reason. But I love this game, and of course, I specifically really like Gerald from, of course, the Witcher series. He is easily probably my favorite guest character in the game, hands down. I love a lot of the retooling of some of the changes gameplay style of many characters in the game. In my opinion, this is probably the best version of Inferno in the franchise. Also, this version of Nightmare is just awesome, especially with his super. But I love and I could gush on and on about Soul Calibur 6, just like Infinite. Coming in at number 2, favorite game on the PS4. I'm not sure where other people would have this, but for me, number 2 is Devil May Cry 5. Comes in at number 2, which was my number 1 favorite game of, 2019? It was my number 1 favorite game of the year it came out. For many good reasons. This game is a lot of fun. It is my personal favorite of the Devil May Cry franchise as a whole. Now, everyone has their own personal opinion, definitely, when it comes to the DMC series, but for me, the soundtrack is superb. I love all the different special arms you can use in the game. It's a lot of fun. And in general, I just enjoyed the game. The boss fights were great. That final battle with Virgil is epic in my opinion. A lot of fun. Speaking of, I need to seriously get on to doing a recorded playthrough with Virgil. Now that I have the update and everything, have him playable character now. Coming in at number 1, my all-time favorite game for the PS4. It was my game of the year for 2018. My number 1 favorite game of the year, which of course I have a full playthrough playlist of, and I don't think it should be surprised. I'm curious about how many other people have this as where on their list, but for me, my number 1 favorite PS4 game of all time, God of War. I was never the biggest fan of the old school God of War games, I'll be honest, but the gameplay aspects of this God of War is amazing. I like the fact some of the gameplay elements remind me similar to that of Dark Souls to an extent. And the boss fights with the Valkyrie are epic. Seriously, I love the Valkyrie boss fights, and in my opinion, the Valkyrie Queen boss fight is one of the hardest boss fights in any genre of gaming. Definitely in like RPG and stuff, is probably the hardest boss fight I've had since playing Dark Souls. In all honesty, like Valkyrie Queen feels like a boss you could have faced off against in like Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3. I think more so Dark Souls 2 because the armor and everything, whole theme. But yeah, for me, this game is gorgeous. It looks great. It plays amazing. I love the game mechanics. And honestly, I can't wait for Ragnarok, God of War. That will be the reason I end up eventually getting a PS5, will be for God of War 2. That is a console seller in my opinion, just like this is a console seller for the PS4. But with that said, that is my top 10 personal favorite PS4 games of all time. Leave a comment below. Tell me, in your opinion, what is your personal favorite PS4 games of all time, and where would you rank God of War? But anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel. Stay safe out there.